Back by popular demand, it is the perfect league. We did it last year on FM where we made every single team in the Premier League have a full squad of perfect players. And we locked them at the clubs for 20, 25, 30 years. I can't quite remember the exact time frame, but we did. This year, you guys have been commenting and saying, are you going to do the perfect league again? Well, yes, here we are. But today, it's with a difference. It's League 2. So there are 24 teams vying for 20 Premier League spots. They're going to be there for 30 years, these perfect players. Let's jump in and see the status quo of world football change forever. So here we go, ladles and jelly spoons. We're back once again, and it's here. We are in League 2, as mentioned in the intro. Every single team's got a note on. Of course they have. And of course, we're going to be getting 4 teams going up and 2 teams going down every single season. So 2 teams will, with the perfect players, be relegated to the Vanarama National League, but they'll probably come straight back up. Almost certainly. We'll have a look at Accrington just to begin with. The senior squad, every single player is going to join Saudi Arabia in 30 years' time. Now, one of the things we do in these experiments is we have a transfer embargo. Well, not today, Pedro. We have not got a transfer embargo whatsoever because I want to see if they're actually going to waste money on players when they've got a full squad of perfect players. Like, will they? Won't they? They shouldn't, but they might. So we're going to look at a random player, Accrington centre-back 5, and there you go. Max ability, max polygon, of course, and frozen attributes. Forgive the silhouette faces. 23, 20... How many players in a squad? Let's have a look. Right, so Accrington don't have any in their youth academy, so if we go out of them all... So it's 24 players per squad. 2 goalkeepers, 22 outfield players. 24 teams, 24 players. What's that in maths? That's 576 players. Now, forgive me for not going through and doing 576 mid-journey faces, all with unique IDs, but it would have taken me forever. It took me forever to set this one up. Not only did I set all this up in the pre-game editor, I've had to go through every single player, bring the attributes in, and then freeze them. How long's that taken me? Let's have a look at the game status. 6 hours and 24 minutes, apparently. Nearly 6.5 hours. Is that right? 6.5 hours. And what have I left that idle? 24 players. Let's say it takes, what? 10 seconds a player, 15 seconds a player, 4 players a minute, 24, so 6 minutes a team, 10 teams would be an hour, 20 teams would be 2 hours. So yeah, about 2.5 hours, and that's going flat out at 15 seconds a player. Bear in mind, there's probably going to be a little bit of jiggery pokery and a little bit of distraction here and there. So yeah, probably has taken me a good 4.5, maybe 5 hours, and a little bit of residual sweating about on top of it. But either way, 6.5 hours. So, season preview then. The entirety of the Salford squad is there. If we look at Salford left back 1, there you go. Full ability, bows and attributes. I'm not sure why, though, the entire Salford squad is there and there's no players from any other team. Wrexham centre-back, again, just clicking on the odd random player, just so you can see that it's all very fair. So Wrexham at 15-1, second place. Salford at 1-91, favourites to go up as champions. Every other team is at 50-1. And yeah, of course, it should be that way. There shouldn't be anything between them. But there is. So we've got 30 years to get through. And we've simulated on further, once all the players leave, to see who can hold on and how world football will change over the next however many years. I think we got to like 2090. So we've got a nice good chunk to go. So you've seen the timestamp for this video. It's probably going to be quite a long one. Some of you have been saying on some of the longer videos, you're loving them. Bring more of them. Well, there you go. Today's is probably going to be a long one. Let's go through 1 year and see who goes up first. Because what we've got to remember is, these perfect players, we're probably going to win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, which means we're probably going to get into the Conference League and the Europa League. And then with the perfect players, we're going to get promoted. So then with the perfect players, we're probably going to win the Conference League and the Europa League. So we could have a team win the FA Cup in season 1, win the Europa League in season 2, but they could still fail to be promoted from League 2 because other perfect teams have done it. So they could be in League 2 and in the Champions League. How about that then? That could be mental. That might happen. I hope it does. Let's go. 1 year. Right, so League 2. So we've got Bradford who've gone down on 49 points. Crawley also going down on 53. Then Colchester surviving by a singular point on 54 points, winning the FA Cup and getting into the Europa League. That's Colchester. The final day of the season. This is the playoffs, sorry. Colchester, lost to Crewe. Okay, fine. I thought if they won on the final day, they could have been going into the Vanarama National League and being in the Europa League. That would have been hilarious. Not to be. Right, who's gone up? Wimbledon, Morecambe, Sutton and Newport. So Salford are nowhere to be seen, 15th. Wrexham 16th. Barrow won the Carabao Cup by finishing 10th. Jamie Carragher is in charge. Sorry. Hired as Barrow manager on the 17th. Well, 17th of the 10th, 23. I didn't know Jamie Carragher was on this as a manager. What's Sky Sports going to do? Favoured personnel. Jamie Carragher, manager. Jamie Carragher's going to be here the whole time. I don't know who this is. This face. This face is someone who just pops up out of nowhere from the face regen pack, I think. I don't know who this guy is, but I recognise him. He pops up all over the shop. Right. Anyway, sorry. Carabao Cup winners, Barrow. They beat Salford in the final. The FA Cup was Colchester beating Accrington. The season preview is as follows. So Salford and Wrexham are still there. The rest of them are at 50-1. Chesterfield and Oldham are also 50-1. Something tells me, as well as Reading, Stevenage, Wickham and Cambridge, I mean, they are all the bottom six. So despite the odds being 50-1, they are saying these six are going to be the bottom six. And let me tell you now, they are going to be the bottom six. These two teams in Europe, fair play to them. Obviously, the teams that have gone up, Wimbledon, Morecambe, Newport and Sutton, are going to go up as champions. Only 3 go up from League One, so one of these teams is going to miss out, probably in the playoff final. The season preview is saying 10-1 for every single team, so we've absolutely knackered up the season preview for League 2 and League 1. Next up, the Championship. Let's go to 2025 then. Right, well, it's happened, hasn't it? It has happened. So firstly, the bottom 6 teams were the bottom 6 teams. Oldham and Cambridge went back down. Look at that, 9 points for Cambridge. And as you can see, the goals scored and the goals against for these teams, there were some big victories, wasn't there? I mean, over 100 goals scored for the top 18 teams. Crewe in 18th had a goal difference of plus 49, scoring 121 goals. The Carabao Cup was won by Grimsby, so it seems. Now, Barrow did win the Europa Conference League. Yeah, Jamie Carragher winning the Conference League. Barrow beating Torino. Still only favoured personnel. Now, Colchester. Graham Potter is in charge. What? Hang about. Managers. Danny Cowley got sacked on the 16th of the 12th. Now, Graham Potter has come in and is the manager of Colchester. And let me tell you, he's a decent manager. I can't see how he's going to get sacked. He has finished 9th and he's got a Europa League win to his name, which means they are in the Champions League from League 2. Of course, if we go down to the Vanarama National League, Crawley and Bradford came up. Look at that, 2 goals conceded for Bradford, both against Crawley, in a 1-1 draw and whatever else. Over 200 goals scored, 272 scored for Crawley. They conceded 3. They did lose to Bradford 2-1. That's all it took for automatic promotion. Those two teams have gone up. So as we've seen, another 4 teams have gone up. Milton Keynes, Dons, Mansfield, Wrexham and Tranmere. League 1 then. And AFC Wimbledon missed out. Finishing 4th. And missing out in the playoffs, having got 126 points in the league. That's harsh, isn't it? Those are the breaks. They'll get there. They'll be up there sooner rather than later. The question is though, there was always going to be 4 teams who aren't in the Premier League, and I just find that fascinating. Who are those teams going to be? Is it going to alternate, or is it just going to be one team that is just so bloody unlucky that they just keep missing out and they can't get there? They keep losing the playoffs. That's almost as interesting as who's going to be winning the league, who's going to be winning Champions Leagues and all that jazz. Well, I think Colchester are going to win the Champions League this year, and that's it. Colchester are now in the Champions League, and they probably will be in it next year. We're going to get another Europa League win. So anyway, Championship, Morecambe, Newport and Sutton. Season preview. Okay, it's not broken. Those 3 teams are going to go up. Sutton have won the FA Cup. Phil Neville's in charge. This is brilliant. Where's Phil Neville come from? He was manager of Portland. Okay, Phil Neville's manager of Sutton. Who's Morecambe manager? Jed Brennan. Emma Hayes at Newport County. I had his Newport manager on the 5th of the 12th, 2023. Go on, Emma. Emma Hayes, Newport County manager. Love to see it. League 1. A little bit broken, but not quite. Eddie Howe's at Wrexham. We're going to have to go through all the managers here, aren't we? Don't know who Johnny Jackson is. Mansfield, Nigel Clough. Iraola at Dons. Nigel Adkins at Tranmere. Nigel Pearson. Wade Elliott. Dave Challoner. Patrick Vieira at Walsall. Gary Monk. Jamie Carragher, we've seen. Michael Carrick at Bradford City. Valerian Ismail at Charlton. Neil Lennon at Crewe. Tony Mowbray at Forest Green. Stephen Clements. God, look at the size of his forehead. This looks like he's been edited. It looks like his eyes should be there. David Artell, Gibraltar. Alan Pardew at Harrogate. Well, we can't do a big old manager merry-go-round without going and having a look at the main man himself, Ralph Hasenhuttl. Sorry, Ralph's not there. Ralph is already... He's not there. What on earth? I'm in shock. I'm in absolute shock, ladies and gentlemen. Season preview, yeah, still broken in League 2. Just Salford are going to win it, apparently. Salford need to get out of that league and we can maybe get the season preview back. We're only 2 years in. Gone a little bit mental. We're going to go another year. We are going to start to have some better jumps at some point. But just for now, I just want to see if Colchester do win the Champions League. Let's go to 2026 then. Okay, so Colchester are once again in the Champions League, which means Graham Potter has won the Champions League with Colchester, beating Real Madrid in the final. Barrow beating Sutton. So Barrow runner-up to Sutton in the final of the Europa League, and the Conference League, Grimsby beat Club Bruges. Look at that. And they've got £59 million in the bank. They loaned him in and played him 5 times. No real transfers, though, to speak of. Fine. Well played, Colchester. There we go, then. As mentioned, Colchester have won the Champions League. Grimsby won the Conference League, so they're now in the Europa League. As you can see, all the teams here, they're slowly just making their way up through the leagues. Barrow, Swindon, Doncaster and Forest Green are now out of League 2. League 1 last season was Dons, Wimbledon and Mansfield, who've gone up. And the Championship, well, Morecambe, Sutton and Newport did make it up to the Premier League, which means next season we will have 3 representatives in the Premier League. The season preview is as follows: Morecambe, then Sutton, and then Newport County. But Sutton have won the Europa League. Phil Neville is representing, and he's now favoured personnel down here, along with Clive Baxter, member of the backroom staff. The Premier League has been won by Man City and Liverpool up to this point, but it is not. Carlo Ancelotti is the City manager. Luis Enrique is the Liverpool manager. Pep is probably the PSG manager. We'll assume he is, because I'm not too bothered. So let's have a quick look at the season preview. So those 3 are going to be the top 3. And getting Champions League football almost certainly. Going down the leagues then, the 3 teams that have just come up are expected to go straight up to the Premier League, understandably. And AFC Wimbledon have won the FA Cup. Yes, they have. They're the FA Cup champions. So therefore, they are going to be qualifying for some form of European football themselves. Wrexham are expected to be going up 1-91. Everyone else is at 50 or 100-1. And I'm surprised to say quite a few of the teams that we have are perfect teams. Like you look at Barrow, for example. Barrow centre back 3. Still got all the perfect attributes. And you've still got Jamie Carragher in charge. Well, there you go. All going to be mid-table, according to the Media Dream 11. Completely wrong. And again, it's still broke at Salford. Just need to go up, and then we can hopefully get some form of normality back to this, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So we've got Champions League winners. We've got we've got 12 teams. So in another, 3 years, we should have all of the teams out of League 2, and League 2 should be no more in terms of this experiment. So we're going to go through 4 years to 2030, because then I think quite a few teams will be in the Premier League, and it'll be interesting to see how the lay of the land is there. So let's go forward now. 4 more years to 2030. Don't forget, these players are here at these clubs until 2053. And then we've still got a big jump on after the fact to see how things are going after. So don't you think I'm shortchanging you by doing bigger jumps now? There is still a hell of a lot to cover, and we will leave no stone unturned. 10 caps for Colchester defensive mid. I've just seen that. Gaz Southgate's in charge. The senior squad should... Oh, it's just Sutton and Colchester and Harry Kane. Sutton, Colchester, Newport, sorry, I've got one. Barrow and Harry Kane. And they've just won the World Cup Group D, scoring 32 goals, conceded none. Yeah. So the Golden Boot, well, yeah, of course, Kylian Mbappe won it. This is 2022. This is the last tournament. This is the real life one, isn't it? We're currently there in the World Cup. England, have they won the Euros? Were they playing? No, France won the Euros, beating England in the final now. Well, Wrexham Winger 3 was... winner of the Golden Boot. The best young player was Wrexham Winger 3. The best player was Wrexham Winger 3. So we don't know who exactly was in the England squad at that point, but they should have won the tournament. They didn't. There we go. And Gareth's still got a job somehow. Will he win the World Cup? That's in League 2, and there is absolutely no one still there. Of course, they went up as predicted, and it was, funnily enough, Salford were the last batch of teams to go up. League 1 then. So we've had 3 teams going up with 4 teams coming up. 3 teams going up from League 1, but 4 teams coming into League 1. So it's an extra team has been added every single season. And as you can see, it's starting to build up. Europa League football for Walsall. Patrick Vieira's Walsall, and they've won a Conference League and a Carabao Cup. Fair play to them. The next season in the league, we've got Bradford, Crawley, Gillingham, Harrogate, Stockport and Walsall. So not many teams at all. And they're all very, very highly rated in terms of the odds. And yeah, this looks a little bit more like it. 100s, 200s, 250s, 400s. And we've got some really pretty big teams here, like Middlesbrough, Championship, for a long time, Premier League quality, been in Championship for a few years. Blackburn, former Premier League winners. Watford, up and down. Stoke City there for a hell of a long time. We've had Birmingham, Coventry, Cardiff, Derby County, Blackpool, West Brom, Swansea. So League 1 is littered with these teams. And the championship, and again, as you can see, 3 teams going up, and it's going to be the same, 3 teams going up, 3 teams coming up. So I think every season we're going to see it, and we are. And as you, if you take your note, you've seen some of the bigger teams sort of falling down here. I mean, you've got your Forest, Everton, Leeds, Burnley, Palace, Sheffield United. I mean, you expect these teams to sort of start to fall away, but then out of nowhere, bang, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Liverpool, unbelievable. So this is the lay of the land, and we're going to start to see teams going down. And well, Sutton won the Premier League at the first time of asking, Newport second, Morecambe in third. And then it was the top 6, wasn't it? It was the top 6, but it was Milton Keynes Dons who won the Premier League, annoyingly. And yeah, teams falling down in Conference League football for City, Europa League football for Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool, nowhere to be seen. Players are going to start to get annoyed. And then you've got the top 9, and Wrexham in 7th don't even get European football because teams are winning competitions to qualify for Europe from the lower leagues. And as you can see, Liverpool and Tottenham have gone down here. Tottenham with 17 points. They've still got Christian Romero, Destiny Udogie. They've still got some bloody good players. Kulusevski, Pedro Porro, Franco Mastantuano, Dimitri Haythornthwaite, who's a regen, Maxence Lacroix, White McNeil, Josip Stanisic, Brian Brobby, easy for me to say, Pedro Neto. Good players. Good players for Tottenham. Liverpool, who they got? Still got Trent, Harvey Elliott, Aaron Hickey, Kanate, Semi Kiliksoy of Fresh Prince of West Yorkshire fame. I don't even know if I've signed him yet, but I've signed him. Don't know if you guys have seen the episode yet. So maybe not of fame, maybe a bit of foreshadowing. But anyway, we're in the Premier League, season preview. And yeah, we're all over the shop here. We are all over the shop. Milton Keynes Dons expected to finish 15th when they've actually got 2 Premier Division titles to the bloody name. Xavi has won the Premier League twice with Milton Keynes Dons. Iriola still at Colchester. Grant McCann at Doncaster. Forest Green, managerless. Jamie Carragher is at Grimsby. He left Barrow. What happened to bloody old Carra? He's only been there 20 days. What happened? He got promoted with Barrow in 2029. And then at the end of the season, he's departed and he's agreed to join Grimsby. Why? Forest Green, Grimsby. Vincent Kompany at Manchester City. Why Manchester City 20th? Oh my God. 5 points deducted for Man City, violation of budget rules. In 2030, their 113 charges have finally come to fruition and it's a 5-point penalty. Of course, I'm being facetious. They've probably done a little bit of jiggery-pokery elsewhere. So we're in 2030 and shall we go and have a look at some trophies we've got? Nobody won the Conference League the season before last. It was Lazio beating Man City in the final. But up to this point, we've had Barrow, Grimsby, Stockport and Walsall getting into the Champions Conference League and winning it. The Europa League has been won by Colchester twice, Sutton twice, Notts County and AFC Wimbledon. And the Champions League has been won by Colchester, Wimbledon, Morecambe and then Sutton. Peter Boss is the manager of Sutton with a Champions League and a Premier League to his name. Eddie Howe with the same at Morecambe. Graham Potter left because he's going to become the manager of Barrow. Hang about. He went to become the manager of PSG, came back, hired as Wrexham manager, sacked as manager of Wrexham, fancied a little stint on Disney Plus, and that was short-lived, less than a year. He's there for season 9 or whatever in 2030, and then he's gone to Barrow. The FA Cup and Carabao Cup been won by our teams every single time, also getting to the final and coming runner-up as well, which is to be expected. Let's have a look at the Champions League again. Yeah, we've been, I neglected to mention it 3 times in the last 5 years, or the last 3 years in a row, should I say. It's been an all-English, all-League 2 final. So, yeah, what do you reckon to that one then? So, where are we at? We're in 2030. We're about to have a complete overhaul of the Premier League. How many teams are left? Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea, Man United, Man City. 5. So in 2 years, they'll all be gone. So before we jump forward, we've had Milton Keynes Dons and, yeah, not spending a lot of money. They bought Ruben Brites from Boca, who is a regen. And he's not bad. Not a bad deal, to be honest. Zeki Amdouni. They spent £30 million on this fella. They spent £30 million on him. He's played 12 times. Oh, he's gone again. He got sold for 15 million. So they made a loss. But what do you expect? He's never going to play. Wanted to see some of the transfers that might have been made. There's Milton Keynes. Morecambe. These have been up here for a while as well. Yeah, bought a player from Juve. Ridiculous. Casemiro from United for free. They spent nearly spent £35 million on Tyler Adams, and they've let him go for nothing. They spent £28.5 million, and then in 4 years he played 5 times. That's just going to be the same whoever we look at. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to go 5 more years into the future, 2035. Here we go. Of course, the Premier League has been taken over. We were last here in 2030. Oh, I'd never looked at that. Newcastle, Leicester and West Ham had gone down. My apologies. I'd got stuck on the 28-29 season where Liverpool and Tottenham went down. Yeah, I don't think I looked at this season with Arsenal, Man City and everyone falling down the league. Man City, despite the budget violation, did not get relegated. They finished 16th on 19 points. Brighton on 5 points with 1 win all season, beating Chelsea. Chelsea on 8 points. Then United, then Arsenal. So Chelsea United and Brighton getting relegated. Arsenal City survived, but only to the next season because they've gone down. And then it's Wrexham who came down with them. As you can see here, look, 1 point for Arsenal, just a draw against Salford. Man City with 2 wins, they beat Arsenal twice, and 2 draws. They drew against Colchester and Crewe. So 1 point for Arsenal, 8 points for Man City, then Wrexham, the next team, on 46 points, going down on -4 goal difference. You've then got also Notts County, who've actually got a 3 goal difference, who have also got 46 points. Colchester getting more Champions League football. Everyone's got a positive goal difference except AFC Wimbledon -1, and that's because they've probably won so many big games against these teams. Yeah, multiple, well, 4-0, 5-0. It's not that good, is it? I suppose that's twice per season per team. So that's 4 games where you're winning 4-5-0. So yeah, you're probably getting a 20-goal swing, 16 to 20-goal swing. And that's probably why, yeah, these would be on -2. Anyway, 74 points won the league, and it was Morecambe. Following season then, Conference League for Milton Keynes Dons, Carabao Cup win, Bradford City Europa League from 16th. 3 teams going down. It's Harrogate, Notts County and Gillingham. And it'd be interesting to see as we go down. Accrington here, 38 points going down, getting Europa League football. Barrow won the league again. Doncaster won it there. Barrow won the league. Vladimir Weiss is in charge. And then Sutton, Gillingham and Tranmere going down. Milton Keynes Dons in 17th, getting Champions League football. Forest Green getting Conference League football from 10th. Season preview is, I don't think Stockport are going to win it, and then everyone else is just miles away. So I'm a bit unsure about that one. So let's go and have a look at the Championship. So 3 teams have come up, 3 teams go down. There'll be a team that just gets stuck in here, surely. Got to be. So here we go. It's Wrexham here on 126 points. 4th in the table, losing to Walsall in the playoff final. Everton getting relegated, 12 points deducted for them. It doesn't matter. They only got 5 points. They've been still 14 points away from the next team, which is Southampton anyway. West Ham now going down to League One. That Harrogate, so Wrexham are back up. Harrogate have managed to lose out this time. But they've gone up as champions the following season. It's Crawley who've missed out here. And there you go. The Championship is looking very Premier League-ish. Very Premier League-ish. 2 teams down in League One. We've got Everton. We've got Fulham. Who else is in the Premier League at the start of the save game? That's it. That is it. No one in League 2 then. Bournemouth are down in League 2. Speaking of League 2, Pep's in charge of England. That was not a bad edit. It was a bad sentence. Speaking of League 2, and I was actually wanted to segue into international football. So I wasn't speaking of League 2. I wanted to move into international football, as I said. Still got the Sutton, Morecambe and Forest Green, Colchester at Wimbledon. So a nice little spread this time. The World Cup has been won 3 times in a row by England, beating France, Netherlands and France. The award winners, the best player was Morecambe goalkeeper most recently. And he conceded 1 goal all tournament. You'd expect positions 2 and 3 to be English players as well. Milton Keynes Dons right back was got 11 assists and 5 goals, getting a 9.39. Newport centre forward 2 got 14 goals, 10 goals for Colchester centre forward 2. Tournament before that, it was Sutton Cam, Sutton winger, and Colchester centre mid. All of them getting over 8s. The Golden Boot then. Most recently it was Morecambe winger 2 with 12. Also Morecambe centre forward 2 got 12. 11 for Grimsby winger 4. Tournament before that, Kylian Mbappe making the top 3 is insane. 10 and 14 for the Englishmen, respectively, and then 8 and 12 for the Englishmen again. So Kylian Mbappe is, well, very impressive. He's now a manager. At PSG his whole career. He's now a manager, an unemployed one at that, and a pretty shit one. 2 Euros wins as well. The Golden Boot has been won by our players 2 times in a row. So the managers then, let's have a quick look down. We've got Stale Solback at Accrington. We've got Greg Berhalter at AFC Wimbledon. Vladimir Weiss at Barrow, as we've seen. Niko Kovac at Bradford. De Zerbi at Colchester. Gaisca Garatino at Crewe. Marcelo Gallardo at Doncaster Rovers. Fernando Diniz at Forest Green. Javi Garcia at Grimsby. Garcia Pimienta at Harrogate. Quinton Fortune at Mansfield Town. Quinton Fortune? Mikel Arteta is at the Dons. Morecambe are looking for a manager. Newport County have got Zinedine Zidane. Notts County, have got Johnny Jackson. Emma Hayes is at Salford. Javi Alonso is at Stockport County. Jamie Carragher is at Swindon. Sergio Conceição at Walsall. And Phil Neville at Wrexham. Well, we are at 2035. We do have a lot to get through still to when the players leave, and then we've got after the fact. So I'm going to jump 8 years now to 2043, and then the final jump will be 10 years to 2053 before we then journey massively into the future. So let's go to 2043, see who is dominating, if anyone. Yeah, so last time we were here, it was Crawley missing out, and we've got Gillingham this time, Crawley actually going up. So teams don't normally stay here for more than an extra season. They'll stay here like Wrexham, and surely they'll get promoted the following season. So Wrexham have just done me over there, because every other time the team had not got promoted, had gone up the following season. Will they do it this time? No, they won't. Bloody hell. And again, they've missed out in the playoff final. So Wrexham have become the team, and they've still not promoted, getting Europa League football. Thierry Henry's in charge. What is going on with these managers? Let's have a look. Who's been in Wrexham? He was at Crewe and Tranmere and Crawley. They've had Phil Neville, Arne Slot, Zinedine Zidane, Graham Potter, Eddie Howe. Still nothing. And then finally they got promoted, and it's now Walsall. And then Walsall again. Unfortunate. They've not got a manager. Harry Pickering has just left the manager role to go and become the manager of Salford. Emma Hayes also left. She's unemployed. She left. She got sacked by Mansfield. She's been at PSG, been at AC Milan. Go on, Emma. Well, that is the Championship, but the Premier League then, we are not really too fussed about looking at teams down below, but look at this. Swindon and Bradford, 15th and 16th respectively. They have clearly won the Europa League and the Champions League. It's just hilarious, isn't it? Mansfield win the league anyway. Then Notts County, Grimsby, Europa League football for Wimbledon in 19th and relegated. Yeah, again, tournament wins over here. Sutton winning the league. Then Swindon, Champions League football for Milton Keynes Dons amidst relegation, finishing 18th. On goal difference as well by 3 goals. Morecambe again have won the league. Forest Green getting Champions League football from 19th this time. Another loss. Another tournament win despite relegation. And then in 2041-42, it was Harrogate, Milton Keynes Dons with Europa League football from relegation again. Conference League football from Grimsby relegated as Morecambe won the league. And we're at present day. So the current records, the current past winners, should I say. We've got a couple for Dons. We've had Morecambe in and amongst it. 3, I think. We've got Swindon, Harrogate, Grimsby, Notts County. And the Champions Leagues, well, did we look in on the Champions Leagues last time? I don't think I did. I would have remembered Forest Green winning 3 in a row. They did though. Forest Green have won 3 in a row. We've had Swindon, Notts County, Milton Keynes Dons, Newport, a couple more for Swindon, and then a couple for Morecambe. Europa League football, well, it's just all English finals, isn't it, really? Sevilla snuck into the final here, as did Real Sociedad, but we're just absolutely dominating the tournament. Same with the Conference League. There's years where we're not winning it, and I think it's because there's years that we're not qualifying for it. I think we're going so deep into these competitions and winning them, we're just automatically qualifying for them, and we're not qualifying for the Conference League. We bypass it and get an extra team in the Europa League. That's what I think anyway. It's probably the case. In terms of the season preview, every single team is 18-1 to win the league, which I think is absolutely hilarious, isn't it? Absolutely hilarious. So let's go and quickly whiz down the managers then. Donna Rumbert is in charge of Accrington Stanley. We've got Mikel Lidgetwood at Wimbledon, Mikhail Skubula, Vinnie Comp at Colchester, Christian Pulisic at Crawley, Charlie Taylor, whoever that is, at Crewe Alexandra, Maxon Boardley, a regen with what can only be described as the most gangster of handlebar moustaches. Iraola at Forest Green. I want to see who was in charge for those 3 Champions League wins. And it looks like it was Quinton Fortune, for 2 of them at least. I mean, Mikel Arteta was there for 343 days. He got sacked, yet he still won the Champions League. So I think that's an absolute travesty, if you ask me. Anyway, Forest Green have got Iraola. Jabi Alonso at Gillingham. Regen at Harrogate. No one at Mansfield. Dons have got Martin Patterson, whoever that is. Chris Fletcher, regen. De Zerbi at Notts County. Did we say that? Jamie Carragher at Stockport County. Nico Barella is at Sutton as a manager. Is he any good? I love that. He's the AC Milan manager. Oh my God. He played for Inter for 14 years. And then for 7 years, he just was unemployed, did nothing, retired in 2033. 7 years later, decided to become the AC Milan manager. 7 years with his feet up. Pepa at Swindon, Arrasate at Tranmere, and then Wrexham have got Thierry Henry, as we've seen. We will tot up all the league titles and stuff as well at the end, but I'm not doing it justice yet because there's plenty more to delve in on, and we're about to do that now. We're going to go to 2053 and see how this all plays out. But I want to see if some teams do go further down than League One as well. We'll be going down all the leagues in 2053, and then we'll be going forward into the future to see if they all come back. While we're here, we will just quickly just go through the championship. So as we saw, Walsall had failed to get promoted. So it was Bradford City in the 44 season. And again in 45. They won the league the next season, though. And it was Swindon Swindon failing to go up in 2045-46. Both Sheffield and Birmingham have gone down. Bristol City, Derby and Swansea getting relegated, with Gillingham failing to win promotion. Gillingham again. And then this time it was Wrexham, as West Ham find themselves down in League One through relegation. Wrexham again, unfortunately, and Brighton go down to League One with Liverpool. Can you believe it? Keano Robinson's in charge. I won't be Keano on taking that job. Bang! There you go, ladies and jelly spoons. There's your crap pun for the day at nearly 51 minutes of recording. I wonder where we are in the edit at this point. Wrexham failed to go up again. No one really to speak of going down. Everton going down. Gillingham this time in 2051-52. And in 52-53, which is the last season, Walsall have failed to go up. We've still got United, City, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, all in the upper echelon of the Championship. So I think they're probably going to come back. And anything to speak of, really, not a lot. Morecambe have won the league, then Sutton. Champions League winners Morecambe the following season in 13th. Sutton with back-to-back league titles, fair play to them. Then Salford winning the league on 65 points. Bloody hell. That is a low points tally, isn't it? And again with 65 points and 69 points. Salford with 3 in a row. Harrogate on 74. Crawley on 77 winning the league, and we've got Forest Green again to wrap things up. So as we go, we've got Kefren Turam in charge of Accrington Stanley. One Champions League. Let's go look at the Champions Leagues first before we do a little head count of trophies. How have we done in the last few years? We've had a couple for Morecambe, Accrington Stanley, Doncaster, Mansfield, Grimsby with a couple, Harrogate, Stockport County. Fair play. Europa Leagues. Yeah, we've got a good few teams there. Salford, Mansfield, Newport, Morecambe, Forest Green, Wrexham, Crewe, Colchester, Accrington, Milton Keynes, Dons, yada, yada, yada. Same applies for the Conference League. I'm not really going to go through it too much. It is what it is. Just quickly, we're going to have a quick look at the England side, and it's Harry Morrison with, again, another gangster handlebar moustache. SI are loving that in this Football Manager, aren't they? The overview is World Cups have been won pretty much religiously by England, I think. Yeah, because we've still got players that are playing. We've got a player here, 199 caps at 47 years old. Always had a few injuries. Bravery down at 16. England are worked first in the world rankings, miles ahead of Brazil. They won the Euros every single time as well. Yeah, can't bother to look into it even further. They've won it. They've done it. Fair play to them. The FA Cup then has been very rarely, I say very rarely, I'm not seeing anyone who's retained it. So no one's retained the FA Cup in all these years. That is mental. And can the Carabao Cup be retained? It's not looking like it. Oh, here we go. Morecambe, 2 in a row in the mid-30s. But that's it. That is craziness, isn't it? So we're going to go through. We've got a Champions League and 2 FA Cups, a Europa League and a Conference League for Accrington Stanley and their new manager, or their current manager, should I say, Kefren Turam. Ellis Slater's a regen. We've got Wimbledon, 2 Champions League, 2 FA Cups and a Europa League. Barrow have got João Victor with a Premier League and 2 FA Cups. Andrew Fuller, regen at Bradford, very little. Sandro Tonali at Crawley. Has he got good manager stats? He has got pretty good manager stats. I mean, level of discipline at 8 is probably quite fair, isn't it? But Crawley have certainly taken a gamble on Tonali. Never get old, the gambling jokes, do they? Never get old. Right, anyway. Pro Alexandra, Donnarumma, 1 Champions League win, a Club World Championship. No Premier Leagues really yet, though. Carl Hooper at Doncaster, also a Champions League and a Premier League. Chris Fletcher, a regen at Forest Green, 3 Champions Leagues and 2 Premier Leagues. Alistair Johnson at Gillingham, and they've won literally a Carabao Cup. 2 Champions Leagues for Grimsby and Louis Finnegan. Howard got 2 Premier Leagues and 1 Champions League. Samuel Vignato, Champions League and Premier League. Milton Keynes, 1 and 2. Nico Barella. Ryan Pace at Morecambe, 6 Champions Leagues, 5 Premier Leagues. I think Morecambe have done it. Oscar Goburn at Newport. Again, Gautier Gerard. Salford City, 3 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup. No Champions Leagues. I thought they'd done more. Morecambe, Just 5 Premier Leagues for Sutton, 1 Champions League, but Morecambe are just the team. Morecambe are just the team. There you go. We've got 3 Champions Leagues for Swindon. But I'd say Morecambe have probably won it up to this point. Fair play to them. What an absolute shambles of an experiment. 18-1 for every single team, every single player. They are all about to leave. Every single team has got a good wedge of money. I mean, they've been spending reasonably big. Spending all right for a few years. I mean, I'm not sure why they spent £43 million on Casper Vestergaard. But they did. It is what it is. There you go. Loads of money for all the teams then. As I say, they have got more money coming in. They've got a great chance to rebuild, as it were. So let's go forward to the end and see who's managed to rebuild. Have any of the Premier League teams got back up, or is it still dominated by our League 2 contingent? 2090 we're going to go back to. It is another 37 years. And the Premier League is as follows. You can see Watford and Arsenal are 4th and 5th. Man United are back up there. So are Wolves. And Newcastle and Sheffield Wednesday have been relegated, the noteless few. In terms of the last 40 years, we've had Stockport with an absolute plethora of titles. Forest Green did pretty well in the early 50s. Crewe Alexandra, Harrogate Town, Crewe Alexandra again. Yeah, Crewe have won quite a few Premier Leagues. In terms of Champions Leagues, well, again, we're doing pretty well. Bayern have won 1, PSG, Bayern, Inter, Real Madrid. But even though they lost all those players, maybe because there was a lack of transfer embargo, they managed to bring some players through already. And yeah, the first season, 53-54, no one won it. Real Madrid beat AC Milan. But the following season, then Stockport in the final again. Forest Green, Stockport, Forest Green, Stockport, Forest Green, Stockport, alternating for 6 years. And then bang, we were back. And all these tournament wins. Again, in 53-54, when all the players had left, no one won the Europa League. Anyone win the Conference League? No, even Fiorentina won that. So we didn't do anything there. It took a season to recalibrate and get back on the road, back on our feet. That's what we did. That is what we did. We're going to have a look down in the Championship quickly. Man City in mid-table. Tottenham also in mid-table as well. Chelsea up here in the playoffs. So I think we saw Liverpool go down to League One. Did they ever get back out of it? Well, it looks like no. They've been down in League One for a hell of a long time. Should we have a look at the domestic leagues? They've been up in the Championship again briefly. Bit of a yo-yo team. A yo-yo and players are going up a bit more than they are. They've gone down and... oh my God, they went down to League 2. They were down in League 2 for a decade. Back up in League 1. A couple of seasons in the Championship, a couple of seasons back down. Then once up and then straight back down. In League 2, lower mid-table ever since. Oh dear. Things are bad for Liverpool. Leeds have just been relegated, which is quite sad. I'm a Man United fan, but I've got a little bit of an affinity with Leeds, especially on this Football Manager, as I'm doing the Fresh Prince of West Yorkshire series, which has got at least 3 episodes out by the time this comes out, maybe even 4. We're trying to finish that series before the end of FM24, ready to start something anew in FM25. But I digress. Let's go to League 2. Any teams here from the Premier League? Burnley technically not, because they're in the Championship. Brentford, Nottingham Forest. Oh, Sunderland getting relegated out of the league. Bloody hell. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? A bit disappointing. But we go down and there we go. Not a lot's happened there. So in terms of over the last 40, 50 years, the Premier League has maintained itself with a lot of our teams. And even though a lot of them there is a lot less of them in the Premier League. The worst team has been Gillingham, who finished 21st. Only a few of them mid-table in the Championship, but 3 of them coming up again. Notts County also in the playoffs. They've done really, really well up to this point, and I'm very impressed with how consistent they've managed to remain in the 37 years following the experiment, when the experiment itself was only 30 years. In terms of competitions, well, England have won the last few Euros again. Wales broke England's... well, look at this. England's dominance from 2028 all the way to 2052. Look at that. Playing Austria twice in the final. And Big Ralph was already gone. Resigned on the 14th of the 7th, 2024. And I think he probably just retired. Maybe. I don't know what's happened. But yeah. Then the tournament after England had lost all those players, Wales beat Scotland in the final. 4 wins in a row recently for England. In terms of the World Cup then, and even in 2054, the players were still knocking about because they'd gone to Saudi Arabia. So they did carry on and play a bit for England, and they probably all retired at the end of that season. Brazil in 2058, beating Spain. Then England again, roaring back, 2062 and 66, winning 2 tournaments on the spin. But that's it. Last 5 tournaments have gone elsewhere. And there you have it. So we have had a very interesting time of it over the course of this experiment. Stockport County, 10 Champions Leagues and 13 Premier Leagues. Shout out to Crewe, 7 and 11. Some of the OGs that did pretty well were Forest Green, 9 Champions Leagues and 5 Premier Leagues. But if we go back to some of the earlier teams, Morecambe, 6 and 5, they won nothing after all the players left, despite the fact that they were top of the pile before when all the perfect players were there. So that's the perfect league. That's the perfect players. Yeah, it's been a bit of a fun one, a bit of a topsy-turvy one. Take good care of yourselves. Subscribe, like the video, all that jazz. I'll see you soon.